Here it's just a pile of sand, and yet the price per square meter has increased by more than 250% over the past 2 years. It feels like we're in the middle of nowhere here, and yet this is one of the most promising neighborhoods in Dubai. And that's why, as someone who has invested in Dubai for over 10 years, I believe in it tremendously. Do you want to know why? Stay with me, I'll explain everything to you right now. For those who don't know me, my name is Agatha. I've been living in Dubai for 12 years and investing here for over 10 years. I founded the Dubai agency in 2019 to support investors, French and European investors in their real estate investment journey in Dubai. And today I'm going to introduce you to the Meydan Horizon neighborhood. Okay, Meydan Horizon is a neighborhood that's still relatively unknown, and so as a result it's often confused with Meydan, which is on the other side and is completely different. It's going to be on this whole area here. For example, Meydan includes Sobha Heartland 1, but also District 1 and District 11, which are on this side. And Meydan Horizon is truly a neighborhood in its own right, located here. In fact, it's this whole area here. I'm really going to explain to you where it is, and I'll also explain how the neighborhood is divided up and the different strategies you can apply in this area. First of all, in terms of location, it's completely unique. Here, in fact, we're right across from what's called the Wildlife Sanctuary. In fact, it's an area classified as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's a completely natural place. It's undevelopable land, and that will never change. To the right here, we have Dubai Creek Harbour and the Future Creek Tower, which will be located right there. Directly across from here, you'll find the Dubai Design District, which is a business center dedicated to fashion, luxury, and so on. And right there, although you can't see it on the model, is downtown Burj Khalifa. And just 15 minutes away, there's DIFC, which is also the financial center, a very important business hub. Basically, you find yourself in a peaceful haven surrounded by nature, but less than 10 minutes from the world's largest mall and 3 business centers. Business Bay, DIFC, and Dubai Design District, as well as some of the best restaurants in Dubai at DIFC, are all about 15 minutes away. Now that you have a good understanding of where we are, I'm going to give you a little focus on the neighborhood itself. Right here, we are exactly at this spot. This is where the Amal Aid Tower is located, and I would say it's the northernmost part of the neighborhood. The unique feature of this tower is that it offers incredible 360-degree views. Right in front, we have views of the lagoon. Over here, you get views of all of Dubai Creek Harbour and the Wildlife Sanctuary. And behind, there are views of the Gulf and the Sobha 1 project by Sobha. So we start over there, and then the whole neighborhood stretches all the way to Al Ain Road. And behind, at that spot, we have Sobha Artland 2. The unique feature of the neighborhood is that it's crossed by a lagoon, which is divided into 4 sections where you can swim. And it's really going to have that crystal clear water vibe, like the Maldives. And the entrance to the lagoon will be like a beach. Actually, it's somewhat similar to the lagoon you find in District 1 for those who are familiar. Here, in these neighborhoods, you can follow 3 strategies. The first strategy is to invest here on the front row, because all the buildings located there will have an unobstructed view of both the nature reserve with the flamingos, Dubai Creek Harbour, and the Creek Tower. And to the left, the Dubai skyline with the Burj Khalifa. Those who are on these 2 rows will have direct access to the lagoon. So we're going to have magnificent views of the lagoon. To give you an idea, there will be crystal clear blue water, a fine white sandy beach, and behind that huge buildings, a bit like in Marina, it's going to be truly incredible. So for these 2 rows, we'll follow this strategy. And for the last row, the strategy will be to have the view of Sobha Heartland 2. Similarly, there will also be a lagoon, there will be townhouses, and there will be magnificent buildings that are 70 stories high, ultra modern, so it's going to have a bit of a Manhattan vibe. It's also going to be very, very beautiful. Another important thing to know is that here we have a park. It's one of the community's parks. And right here there's a metro entrance. It will be an underground metro. So when you're in this block, you're within walking distance to the metro. And that's also going to be really appreciated. For those who noticed the Rolls-Royce behind me earlier in the background, I know it might seem a bit cliché and especially really strange in a real estate sales center. Actually, it's because the developer we're with today launched a tower in partnership with the automotive developer Mansory. And that's why there's a Mansory Rolls-Royce here. But anyway, that's not the topic today. Follow me, let's get down to business. As you may have guessed, today we're not here to focus on this developer, but rather on the Meydan Horizon district. For me, it's a neighborhood that's going to be among the most premium in Dubai in the coming years. For a neighborhood to become premium, as opposed to something that never takes off and just remains a bit ordinary, the first thing, and I don't think this will surprise you, is location, location, location. I'm sure I'm not the first person to tell you this in real estate, and here I'm going to emphasize this point a little. In Meydan Horizon, you're truly in a haven of peace, a bit removed from the traffic and the frequent traffic jams that are quite common in Dubai right now. We're really right across from the wildlife sanctuary. Let me explain a bit. It's a large mangrove and a stretch of water, which is home to migratory birds, especially flamingos, all year round. Thanks to this, it's a UNESCO-listed site and therefore completely undevelopable. Aesthetically, it's truly stunning. It's wild. There are lots of birds, water, greenery, and so on. And when you live in a mega city like Dubai, it's really wonderful to have these views and to find yourself surrounded by nature, all while being less than 10 or 15 minutes away. From the biggest business centers, from the Burj Khalifa, Dubai Mall, Dubai Design District, and again, Business Bay DIFC, or even Cry Carbon. Second point, which is super important, is to be in a master community that will be developed by a master developer. Here, it's Nahil. I'll quickly remind you who Nahil is, and you'll immediately understand. It's a government developer that is 100% owned by the government and is behind neighborhoods like Palm Jumeirah, Dubai Islands, and also Palm Jebel Ali, so let's just say it's rock solid. Right now, their focus is on Meydan Horizon, and what they're actually doing is creating a real city within the city. They're going to build schools, the metro will come to this community, and above all, there will be a huge lagoon running through the area. In this lagoon, you'll be able to swim and bathe, and it will be set up a bit like a beach with sand and so on. There will also be hospitals, mosques, and so on. In short, everything you need to be happy in this place. Here, in the case of Meydan Horizon, we have both. We have the location and we have the master development. To give you an idea, there are places in Dubai with a great location, but where the master development wasn't properly carried out. Places like Al Barsha, for example. Al Barsha is an incredible location. You're really in the center of Dubai, equidistant from Marina and downtown. You have the metro, direct access to Sheikh Zayed Road, and you're right next to the Mall of the Emirates. And yet, since things were built a bit haphazardly with developers who weren't very high-end, it's something very cheap and not worth much today. That's why it's extremely important to be in master communities like Downtown, Blue Waters, Creek Harbor, or even City Walk. Just as a reminder, a master community is a neighborhood developed by a master developer who sets up the infrastructure, like roads, for example. In this case, the lagoon, the various plots, and so on. The master developer can develop everything themselves, meaning they build all the buildings, as is the case in downtown, for example, with MR, or in Creek Harbor. Alternatively, they can resell the plots to independent developers, as is currently happening on Dubai Island, where the master developer is Nakheel. But we can see that all the private developers in the market are developing there, like Ellington, Imtiaz, and many others. For those who are more technical and think it's better to invest in a master community that will be developed by only one developer, there are pros and cons to that. I'll give you an example with Creek Harbor, for instance. We're talking about a master community by MR. It's great because everything was developed consistently by IMA. On the other hand, you end up with a huge number of units that have exactly the same features. You have the same sizes, the same layouts, the same level of finishes, same amenities, same lobby, etc. So when you want to resell or rent out, you might face a lot of competition. Here, as is the case on Dubai Island, we have a master community developed by Nakheel, but at the same time, there's diversification in terms of developers. When you invest in a particular project, you'll have a fairly limited number of units that share the same features as yours. So that's a really positive point. By the way, just as a side note, I personally invested in Dubai Creek Harbor. I've since sold, and for those who want to know more, you can check out the video on the channel. The third point is really about the developers who are setting up there. What will make all the difference is the level of quality, the reputation, and the execution of the developers who will be building there. Here, it's all high-end. Among the developers who are building and have already launched projects, we have Prestige One, Ellington, MTS, IGO, and the Iron Holding Group. So we already know we're in a rather premium market segment. Another thing, at least for now, and I think this will last, we don't have any studios in the area. And that's also a really good indicator. In general, when a master development and a neighborhood like this are intended to become and remain premium, they'll actually set a level of a fairly high standard, starting with one-bedroom units. That's the case at City Walk, it's the case at Blue Waters, it's the case at Dubai Creek Harbour, and it's the case for all the latest IMAR projects in downtown. There are only a very limited number of towers with studios in downtown, and those are the old ones that were built 15 years ago. So that's another additional indicator, the fact that there are no studios and that we're only dealing with ultra-premium, high-quality developers. So the location, the master plan, the fact that there are only good developers and that there are no studios, these are key criteria we can rely on when we look at other communities with exactly the same characteristics to know that we're dealing with something truly premium. On top of that, there will be the lagoon. It's going to be absolutely incredible. All right, we've changed locations. Yeah, I know it's random. There's a turquoise blue scooter behind me, which is really weird for a developer. But stay focused, because what I'm about to tell you now is super important. When I told you earlier that the neighborhood is going to boom in the coming years, it's not just an opinion, it's a fact. Here you're going to see the curve showing the increase in price per square foot. And actually we were below 1,000 dirhams in 2023, and now in 2025 we're above 2,000 dirhams. That's an increase of over 250% in just 2 years. So if prices have already gone up while the neighborhood looks like this, just imagine what it's going to be like when the neighborhood looks like this. Now, with everything I've explained to you, I imagine you're really eager to see what it looks like. Follow me, we're getting in the car and we're going to explore the neighborhood. Okay, so here we are at the Amman City Center. And follow me, we're going to tour the neighborhood a bit, we're going to explore. And I'll show you, we'll start with the area that's on the edge of the nature reserve. And we'll also get out of the car so we can assess the noise level a little, because there is still a road right at the foot of it. And generally it's really well soundproofed in Dubai, so we'll see if it's noisy or not. So here, what you see right nearby is Sobha 1 with its golf course at the foot. And right next to it, there on the right, is Dubai Creek Harbour. Opposite, we'll have the nature reserve. And on the left, we have the Burj Khalifa and downtown. So you see, it's extremely close. I'm going to try to get into this construction site here, the Belmore residence site by Ellington. I think we're going to get kicked out, but at least you'll get an idea. From where the plot is located exactly and approximately, there now we have a beautiful view of downtown. I hope I don't get in trouble, but this way you can see the kind of views you'll have when you're on this line, in your apartment, in all the buildings that will be on this side. So just to explain, on the right, all the way to the right, that's the block of buildings that will have a view of the nature reserve, downtown and Dubai Creek Harbour, which is behind us on our left. In fact, that's going to be the block and the line of buildings that will have a view of the lagoon, because the lagoon is just behind. But we'll go there as well. That way, you'll really get an idea. Behind the buildings, you see that's Sobha Auckland 2. It's crazy how much progress they've made. Honestly, I'm amazed. It's something that was started 2 years ago. You can see they're already on the 30th or 40th floor. And this building here, actually, the street that runs in front, the road down below, that's the road that leads to Dragon Ma, Dubai Creek Harbour, etc. So it's a road I've taken since I arrived in Dubai, and I've always seen this building, and I've always thought the location of this building is completely random. Who in their right mind would build something here? And who were the crazy people who bought there at the time? Because it was really in the middle of nowhere. It just goes to show, in Dubai it's super important to be visionary. Because certainly the people who built there 10 years ago, they had this vision that no one else had at that time. And it's incredible because this building, which is in the middle of nowhere, it's still in the middle of nowhere, is going to find itself in 3 or 4 years in one of the most premium communities in Dubai. So as we move a little further into the neighborhood, still on the right, here we can see views of Dardan, which are going to be absolutely amazing once the buildings are constructed. Actually, here we're continuing along the street, the future street, which will have this row of buildings on the right and another on the left, which will have a view of the lagoon. Here we can see the MTS construction project. It's Meydan Horizon. And so we're going to move on. There's a photo of the building, and I think that'll make things clearer. You'll understand right away. This building, actually, we're at the back of the building where the entrance will be. The entrance for cars, parking, etc. So in fact, the people who will be in this building will have views on the other side overlooking the lagoon, and behind they'll have views between the buildings of the skyline that's right there. What we see right in front of us, the buildings we see here, are the buildings of the Sobha district, Sobha Archland 1. And here we can see Sobha Archland 2 a bit better, which is on this side. I'm sorry, I'm a bit all over the place, but it's true. And actually what's crazy is that all the views everywhere will be absolutely beautiful. On one side, you have the nature reserve with greenery, flamingos, the mangrove, etc. On this side, these views will be of D'Entendre for Charlie Fa. The views on the other side will be of Creek Tower and Creek Arbor, and on this side we'll have views of Sobha Archland 2, which will also be a stunning neighborhood with the lagoon, the mansions. It's truly luxurious. And those buildings there, I don't remember exactly how many there are, but there are about 10 of them that will be 70 stories high. And at night when they're lit up, it's going to give a really futuristic Manhattan vibe, and it's going to be absolutely stunning. Back there, that's going to be the Claydon House project by Ellington. And that one, it's the one at the very end of this whole line of buildings. It's a bit at an angle. I'll show you what it looks like. That one was on a corner plot. And actually it's angled, it's oriented like this. So as a result, it offers some really beautiful views. Same with the skyline that's just behind it. And this project, personally, I found it stunning. Super high quality, as always, with Ellington. So that's it, we've reached the end, right next to the plot where Claydon House will be built. We're heading back, and once again, just to make it clear, here along this whole line, it's actually going to be built up, and it's going to connect to the first strategy, the one we talked about earlier. That is, the people who are going to buy here are those who will have amazing views, both of the nature reserve of Dubai Creek Harbor over there and of the downtown skyline right here. On the other side of the street, there's this whole area, including the Imtiaz project, which will be called Imtiaz Horizon. And here, in fact, this will correspond to strategy number 2, which will be right on the edge of the lagoon, in the front row facing the lagoon, and will have direct lagoon views. So, of course, when you invest in a project here, it's better to have a view at the back overlooking the lagoon and Sobha Archland 2. And when you invest on this line, again, it's best to have a view at the back to enjoy the skyline, the reserve, and Dubai Creek Harbor. So now we're actually going to go to the other side of the lagoon, right across from here, where there will be neighborhoods like the Aiju project called Ayan Heights 1. There will also be Ayan Heights 2 on that side. And notably, there will be the Waterway and Parkway projects by Prestige 1. But in any case, we'll pass by them. So you'll see exactly where they're located. Before we cross to the other side, I'd like to take you there. I hope we won't get stuck in the mud. By the way, my husband and my friend, when you see the video, you won't be happy. This is actually where the future lagoon will be. So I'm going to show you the hole a little bit. Actually, it's going to be right here. You can already see the big pipes and everything. I don't know if the pipes are related, but I think they are to the construction of the lagoon. But anyway, it's going to be in this hollow right here. So you can see the plots of land on either side, actually. On each side, the large plot where you see the white fence, that's also going to be a project on the lagoon side. And on the other side, we're going to see other developments, and actually you can see the groups over there. All right, let's go. So now we've moved along the edge of the lagoon, we're heading back, and we're going to cross to the other side to see the other projects that are on the opposite side of the lagoon. And at the same time, I'll show you where one of the community's large parks will be located, along with the entrance to the metro station. And this will also give us an idea of what kind of view we'll have on the other side, on the Sobha Archland 2 side, because I think that's going to be very beautiful as well. All right, here we go. Okay, so now we're on the small street that goes to the other side. So everything that's going to be on this side will be things that are right on the edge of the lagoon, because the lagoon is actually just behind this. Right here, exactly here, there will be a park. And underneath this park, the metro will run. So it's going to be an underground metro here. And the metro entrance will be located exactly where the buses are now. You see the buses, the trucks that are right there. That is going to be the metro station. So when we are on this very specific plot of land, on one side we'll have the first row along the lagoon. There will be buildings there, so I don't know if we'll still have a view of the Burj Khalifa. And behind us there will be the park, the metro station, and on the other side a view of Sobha Archland 2. You have to understand that everything over there is going to be townhouses and villas, also with a lagoon, but it will only be accessible to people from the Sobha Archland 2 community. And here there will be big buildings that won't block the view at all, but on the contrary will be really, really beautiful. So when you're here, you have the lagoon on one side, and on the other side, there's an empty plot of land. It's really going to be incredible, absolutely beautiful. So this answers the second strategy. Those who are on this side, it fits the strategy of being on the front line facing the lagoon with lagoon views. And those who will follow this strategy starting from Parkway, this is the Parkway plot, which is a corner plot owned by Prestige One. Here the strategy is, I'm close to the metro station. We're not on the front line facing the lagoon here, but it's still a great spot because we're close to the metro station and the park. You can still walk to the lagoon. It's about a 5-minute walk. And behind we have views of Sobha Auckland 2, which are going to be really, really nice from this side. Well, as you can see, I'm taking all the risks to show you the projects and to really be at the heart of the action. I even had to lie to the security guard. So I hope you appreciate it and that you remember to subscribe and like the videos. What we're seeing here is Sobha Auckland 2. I'm showing you this because often when we talk about the massive projects in Dubai with master communities and buildings that are 50, 60, 70 stories high, I often get comments like, no way, they'll never finish on time, it'll never be done, it'll take 10 years, etc. But here there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there are 7 towers that are already at least at the 30th floor. This is a project that was launched, not started, but launched 2 years ago. Do you realize how fast they've worked? And for sure it will be finished on time. This is a Choba project for Raybel. Here, these are the pipes for the lagoon, definitely. This is the entrance to go to the project, well, actually to the construction site of the Sobha Auckland 2 community. And so we're going to head back. And I hope that now you understand a little better how the neighborhood is organized, what the advantages actually are of the locations within this neighborhood and the different strategies they serve, and that you can get a better idea of the views. Because when you look at the models or when you look at the master plan, you often get the impression that the only plots or the only projects that are interesting are the ones on the lagoon, but that's not the case at all. There are really opportunities everywhere. The view of the skyline and Dubai Creek Harbour is incredible. And the view on the other side as well towards Sobha Auckland 2, not far from the metro. That's also something great, and it will really have a lot of value. What's important to understand here about this Meydan Horizon neighborhood is that it caters to the 2 main real estate investment strategies, namely a capital gain or flipping strategy and also a rental yield strategy. Here you can do both because prices are still affordable. We know that the price per square meter in Meydan will increase and will continue to rise once the lagoon is completed, when the whole community is fully developed and when the metro arrives. And we also know that given the premium developers who have established themselves here, there will be strong rental demand targeting a rather affluent clientele, similar to neighborhoods like Dubai, Creek Harbour, City Walk, downtown, and so on. And so that's really interesting because neighborhoods that fit both of these strategies are quite rare in Dubai. For me, the ones that are coming up and are at this level of development, where there are major opportunities, are the others. I mean, Dubai Islands and Maritime City. And we're not at all talking about the same price points. Here, the starting price for 1-bedroom units is around 450,000 dirhams. For some projects, there's even post-handover payment plans. So really, for those whose budget is in that range and who, up until now, had to limit themselves to more affordable neighborhoods because they didn't have the budget needed to go for Dubai Islands or Maritime City, this is really the neighborhood you need to jump on. I've come back here to redo the conclusion of this video, and I hope you've learned something, and I also hope you now understand why I'm about to invest heavily in Meydan Horizon. Back when I invested in Dubai Creek Harbour, which everyone is fighting over today, it was exactly the same situation. It was really just a pile of sand in the middle of nowhere. If you also believe in my vision and you are convinced that this neighborhood has all the criteria to explode in the coming years, above all, don't hesitate to contact us, whether it's me or a member of my team. We will be delighted to support you in your real estate investment project in Dubai. See you soon in the next video.